As the pandemic is not over yet, and new more infectious virus strains have been noticed, the COVID-19 pandemic had a profound impact on global affairs. Since its emergence, many have written about how the coronavirus is fundamentally changing the world. The process of adjusting to new realities and looking for new opportunities, which assist its rise in, will be the task for Indian foreign policymakers. As US-China, rebalancing and the emergence of an assertive China will have a major impact on India. New geopolitics, centering around the rise of China, the future of US hegemony, the rising salience of the Indo-Pacific, the reshaping of the Middle East, the growing salience of technology in trade and politics, and the fears of pandemics and viruses, is shaping up. The trends that unfolded in 2020 will gather pace in 2021, and India have to deal with those geopolitical changes. India already has forged close defense ties with the US. And with the signing of the foundational agreements, the interoperability between the Indian and US forces has improved. India can be a part of multiple economic webs and can gain from them. At the same time, its ability to shape the world order gets intricately linked with the economics and politics at home. Analysts in China and Russia interpreting these developments as a definite tilt in the Indian policy towards the US. India is hoping that the bipartisan consensus in the US on India will not break down under Biden administration, and the importance of the Indo-Pacific in US policies would be upheld. Let's see some of the major tasks for Indian policymakers. Managing the multifaceted consequences of China's rise. Sustaining the key strategic partnerships with major powers like the US, Russia, Japan, Europe. Then deepening the all-round engagement with the immediate neighbors. Most importantly, filling the Act East policy, neighborhood first. Security and growth for all, saga. The Indo-Pacific, the Quad, are some initiatives with strategic content using the market and data potential of India to its benefit, reviving the economy and returning to high growth trajectory. Are some of the major tasks for policymakers. While maintaining strategic ties with the US, India cannot afford to neglect Russia. Even if US pressure continues on India not to buy Russian S-400, still India should follow the policy of engagement with Russia bilaterally, as also in the BRICS, RIC, and SCO formats. To reassure Russia, India needs to quickly follow on its Act Far East policy, which was announced with much fanfare during Prime Minister Modi's visit to Vladivostok in 2019. India needs to watch the trends in Russian foreign policies carefully. And Russia must be engaged comprehensively. The international north-south transport corridor must be operationalized to improve trade with Russia. Russia remains the top defense supplier for India. The joint production of defense systems with Russia must be considered. Russia and China already have a very strong strategic partnership, and Pakistan would try to drive a wedge between India and Russia. The withdrawal of US troops from Afghanistan will leave the Afghans at the mercy of the Taliban and Pakistan. And Russia does not seem to mind. Because of Russia-Pakistan relations are growing. These trends must be watched carefully and factored into India's Russia policy. Even Europe is being transformed, after Britain has exited the European Union, but the two have been able to sign a landmark trade deal, which is good news for both. India has done well to invite the British Prime Minister, Boris Johnson, to the Republic Day parade as the chief guest. India needs to work out a trade deal with the European Union and Britain as soon as possible. Undoubtedly, China will remain the most serious security challenge for India in 2021. As China has shown no sensitivity to India's security concerns. So India will need to adopt short-term and medium-term and long-term measures to deal with the consequences of China's rise. While resolving the tensions on the border, India will have to be wary that Pakistan-China nexus does not create further security complications for India. CPEC, passing through the Gilgit-Baltistan, is a security threat. India's defense preparedness must be top class to deal with a possible two-front situation. Indigenization of defense production must be given the highest priority. Pakistan can be expected to foment trouble for India, as it has done over the years. For this trouble, India needs to watch the developments in Pakistan carefully, as it is likely to remain politically unstable. China has already increased political influence in Nepal, so India will need to step up its economic engagement and connectivity with the neighbors. There could be more surprises in 2021. So India needs to build its inherent capabilities and strengths for effective diplomacy and foreign policy.